What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got more unfortunate bad news when it comes to the IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Jaron Boots Ennis, who's undefeated, 33 wins, no loss, no draw, 29 wins by way of knockout, 27 years of age, 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. Jaron Ennis feels he can't secure marquee fights. And if you don't know, as of recent, he turned down the opportunity to fight undefeated WBC junior middleweight interim world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who he's been linked to for years. And that's Virgil Ortiz Jr., who is 22 wins, no loss, no draw, 21 wins by way of knockout, 26 years of age, 5'10" with a 70-inch arm reach. And Virgil Ortiz Jr. has made it abundantly clear Jaron Ennis is ducking his fight for February 22nd. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh clearly wanted to make this fight with Jaron Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, but they could not come to an agreement because they stated that Jaron Ennis initially agreed to this offer from Golden Boy Promotions and Virgil, but the initial offer was a mistake made because it said at 147. And Virgil's team came back and said, well, no, it has to be at 154, obviously, because Virgil Ortiz physically is unable to even attempt to make 147 because he nearly lost his career and his life twice trying to do that to fight WBA welterweight champion Amanda Stanionis, and the fight was called off and canceled twice after being agreed upon because Virgil got sick and could not make the weight and had to be hospitalized and nearly lost his career. He even went back to college because he thought his career was over. So we know physically it's impossible for him to make 147 pounds. He had to gradually make his way down to 154, fighting 2 times above 154 after the health scares, right? So with that said, now we have the situation where Jaron Ennis has turned it down, but he's stating he was unaware. Well, we know that not to be true because the whole entire world and boxing space was talking about this fight, and he said he was unaware of negotiations. Now it's said that Jaron Ennis clearly could not be found after Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy made it be known that it had to be at 154. And then this is why Jaron Ennis is saying he couldn't understand where this was coming from because he was unaware. Because apparently he was unable to be contacted during the holiday, right? With that said, his promoter, Matchroom CEO and promoter, said that he agreed to the initial offer, which was at 147. So he was well aware. And now we know, as I told you guys, the situation with the Terrence Crawford situation, where he was unaware that Steven Espinosa wasn't willing to make the fight between him and Terrence Crawford before Terrence Crawford fought Errol Spence and after Terrence Crawford beat David Avanesian. And Terrence Crawford was more than willing to make the fight. Now we have a situation where Brian Norman Jr., Boots Ennis came out and he made a statement that Brian Norman Jr. turned down the offer. Brian Norman Jr. and his team was not even aware that they moved forward because when they made the initial offer, they made a counter offer and never received anything back until Boots did an interview with YSM Sports and said that they turned it down. And then they kicked up dust like, wait a minute, we ain't turned down nothing. We made a counter offer and nobody responded. Then they went negotiations. And as they were negotiating, it comes out by the IBF president, Mr. Darryl Peoples, the International Boxing Federation, which Boots holds the title, that even if they could have came to a financial agreement with Brian Norman, the fight couldn't have happened because he had obligation with the IBF. So even if he came to, and they gave Brian Norman the number he was looking for, the fight could not have happened because of the rules of the IBF. It was past the deadline and Eddie Hearn never informed the IBF. So they were negotiating for no reason. Now you have former WBO junior middleweight world champion, son of a legend, Australian superstar boxer, Tsyzu and his team coming out. Now, Tsyzu took back-to-back losses to Sebastian Fundora in March, and he took a loss to Bakram Mataliev most recently. Tsyzu and his team was asked about this situation with Jaron, Ennis, and Virgil Ortiz, and now they stated that Jaron Boots Ennis did the same thing to them. He was supposed to be the opponent for Tsyzu for March, but he did the same exact thing, leading them to believe that he was going to go to 154 and then changing his mind to stay at 147, and then signing with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, and left them high and dry. And then they went to the negotiations with Terrence Crawford. Then it landed on Erickson Lubin. Apparently, they were trying to negotiate, but Lubin said that wasn't true. And then they landed on Keith Thurman. And Keith Thurman suffered an injury. And then it landed to Sebastian Fundora. But they were initially supposed to have Jaron Boots Ennis, supposed to be with the premier boxing champion, founding advisor Al Haymon. And he was supposed to be the first fight, the big fight, with Tsyzu to announce the PBC's new partnership with Amazon Prime. And he did the same exact thing, telling them that he was willing to go to 154 and then changed his mind that he wanted to stay at 147. The problem is he's not securing the champions at 147. That's the problem in the unification. He wants to be undisputed, but the champions outside of Brian Norman aren't willing to unify the belts with him. So he's wasting his time at 27 years of age. This is unfortunate and not looking good for Jaron Boots Ennis. His PR has to do better. And that's all I got for y'all. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. That would have been a big opportunity for him to land the Terrence Crawford fight, who was petitioning the WBO. He would have been able to beat Tsyzu and then get the Terrence Crawford fight. This is unfortunate. But follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, or one word, I'm gone. Peace.